This is Jacqueline with Nickel and Dime Decor, and this is another video on our little bit of Christmas quilt. I wanted to talk to you about cutting and what you're going to need for this very nice, very pretty quilt. This is made in Christmas fabrics, which I'm not doing, but that's why it's named A Little Bit of Christmas. But I'm taking it and using blues and yellows. And I'm going to have the white sashing. So I wanted to explain more to you about the fabric requirements and what you're going to do. Now, our pattern called for 600, 800, and 41 2.5 inch squares. Okay? Alrighty. I had one jelly roll. And out of my jelly roll, I had 40 strips. Well, this quilt calls for 61 strips in a jelly roll. So I'm using one jelly roll and then cutting the rest out of bits and pieces. But if you want to have 2 jelly rolls, you're going to use probably 1 complete jelly roll and 29 additional strips in another jelly roll. Usually a jelly roll has 40 to 42 strips. So they want you to have 61 strips of 2.5 inch widths for your quilt, and then 8 of them for your binding. And then you're going to need 2 yards for the sashing. 2 yards. And let's see where it says for the back. It doesn't say for the back. It's going to be a 68 by 68. So just says backing to size. So at least 3 yards or more for the backing. Okay, I wanted to give you kind of an idea. I've only got 2 jelly rolls cut, strips, and started my little stacks. Remember I said I was going to do them in light, medium, and dark. But I thought you might like to see, you know, a jelly roll has got this pinking on the ends, on the edges. Well, and I've already cut off my ends and got them on there. Now I'm going to put the camera down and I'm going to show you. I know 90% of you already know this, but remember this channel is for beginners, so there might be somebody that doesn't know this. So let's put the camera down and let me show you. Out of 1 strip of jelly roll, you are going to be able to get 17 2.5 inch squares. Okay? If you want to write that down, you will have 17 to each one of your jelly rolls. And that's why I took the 17 times 40 strips is 680. So that's how many you'll get out of 1 jelly roll, is 680 squares if it has 40. Now, I think this is the best way to cut your 2.5 inch strips, is just this little bitty square thing. It definitely shows you where your 2.5 inch is right there. And when you put this down, you're going to put it right on the little, what do you call that? Hinged, it's not hinged, pinking, on the pinking edges. And you're going to put your 2.5 right, I got it right on that 2.5, and I'm going to put it right on that edge. And my 2.5 line right here is right on that edge. You're going to have the most perfect 2.5 inch square that you could ever want. Hold it down and trim. And trim. It's hard to do sitting down, let me tell you. That is a perfect 2.5 inch. You don't go below the selvage where it's trimmed. You go right on those pinking sheared edges, okay? Because you need the whole thing to make a 2.5 inch square. If you went down here below that pinking edge, you're not going to have a 2.5 inch square. So you want it to be absolutely edge of it to edge of it. And that is your perfect 2.5 inch square. Now, I have a dark stack, I have a light stack, and now this I'm going to consider medium. And when I cut all the rest of these, I will have 17 of them off of each strip. Now, I don't know, I haven't read ahead on the sashing, so we're not going to talk about that right now. But remember, we're just trying to accomplish 25 of these blocks. 5 by 5, meaning 25 2.5 inch squares to each block. And we're going to be able to have a different colors, different fabrics in each one with this many squares, 600, 861 of them, 41 of them. They're all going to be basically different, which is good. So that's all I wanted to go through with you, is on the cutting, because so many people will ask, do I include that pinking shear edge? And yes, you do. That is part of your measurement from edge to edge. It's the only way to get a 2.5 inch square, perfect square. If you don't have this little bitty tool that marks your 2.5 inch perfect, you really need to find one and buy it. And this has rough edges on it so it doesn't slip and slide when you're cutting. It's called, this came from Creative Grids. And it's a non-slip ruler. And that's what you need to cut. When you're cutting 841 of these, you want them to be very, very precise. And there's only one way there to do this. And I'll find it. I lost my place a while ago. There it is. No, that's not it either. There it is. There it is. All right, now, see how I have it? I have it all the way up to that edge, including that selvage edge. This line down here is right on that selvage edge. This is right on the edge, and we're ready to cut. You will be so glad with this can't be all that much money, but it's just such a good tool. Works like a charm. So I know the videos are short and we don't have much going on, but each and every step is just too important not to go over. You don't want to skip steps and not do things correctly. And if I'm going to cut 841 of these, they're going to be exact. They're going to be good. So, happy cutting. Now, when I get to my other scraps and pieces, all I'm going to do is cut 2.5-inch strips. And then I'll treat them just like it was a jelly roll. And I'll do the same thing, the same procedure. I'll cut them with this, one by one. Now, if you're that good that you can put 2 of them down and you think you can not get the bottom piece to move, well, you go ahead and cut 2 at a time. I'm not going to do that. Invariably, I would make the whole thing long and not cut it right. So, I truly, truly hope that you're going to make this with me. And like I said before in my other video, I told my nephew that I would have it for him by Christmas. But I'm right now working on making things for a bazaar and in the end of October. And I'm not making much progress, but I wanted to take the time to talk to you about this. It's just so important in this step. And remember, I told you, and I'll repeat it, this came out of Quilter's World, the little magazine, Winter 2016. And you can go online and get this pattern. I don't know if it's free or if it'll cost you, but you can go and get the pattern. All right. Hope you're having a good week, and I hope you're cutting those 2.5-inch squares faithfully. All righty. God bless. Bye.